I will say the instant I try to be funny, it's game over. I could never be on SNL.
No, I mean I could be on SNL like with a script, but don't ask me to. I could never be an SNL writer for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it as a guest.
Ooh, as a guest.
Here, put it there.
Okay, put it
better?
there. Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. As a guest, I wouldn't have any suggestions. I'd be like, I trust you guys.
I would. I mean, I guess we can go down this rabbit hole. I would love to have like an arc over the episode. So like you revisit sketches.
That would be great.
Like you establish like 3 or 4 up at the top.
Yeah.
And then as the episode progresses, you like come back to them and they like develop.
I think that's great.
I think that would be fun.
I think SNL, and this isn't even experimental. I think SNL could be more. I think they could vary the length of their sketches. I think some sketches could be longer, and I think a lot of sketches could be shorter. And I like that they're kind of with Sarah Squirm and.
Her name is Sarah Squirm?
No, her name's Sarah Sherman, I think, but everybody calls her Sarah Squirm. I think it's because it's.
Is she cringe humor? Is that her?
No, well, she's incredibly absurd.
Cool. I love that.
She's a new recurring player, and Sarah Troust is also new on there. She had a really famous sketch or a viral sketch when Timothée Chalamet hosted, and she was an orphan. Did you see that one?
I'm so bad. I don't watch.
I don't watch either.
Yeah,
I saw it because it was on Instagram. In short, she's an orphan and she sings a song and she has a very strange voice. Not her she actually has a wonderful singing voice, but her character's voice is very strange, and Timothy plays the moon. That's like shining through her window, and the joke is that she's like,
I'm already laughing. That's really funny.
The joke is that she's like, why doesn't anyone want me? I'm never adopted. And then she's like, and then she lists off all these things. She's like, is it because I laugh weird or whatever? And she's like, or is it because I'm 26 years old? And Timothy's like, it's because you're 20. What? Like, this is illegal.
That's really funny.
So they're getting a little bit more absurd. I'm glad for that, actually, because that's what my entire thing was. I thought that their sketches got to be a little plain. But now
I feel like I think you should leave as kind of like forcing them to.
Oh, of course.
Like, be funny.
I'm sure. I mean,
because he was on SNL.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was fired. I wouldn't even be surprised if he quit, but he was only on it for a season.
Yeah, right. Probably screaming too much.
Probably screaming too much. And then I didn't know that Julio Torres wrote for them.
Yeah, I just found that out as well.
Yeah, on his A24 podcast episode with Emma Stone.
Yes.
I didn't know that he wrote the. I think it's just called The Actress, but
yes. Yeah.
So I think especially with the two of them blowing up the way that they are, and I mean they've got some great people on there right now. That makes a lot of sense that they'd go in a more silly kind of way.
Yeah, which I'm all for. I just saw that Beavis and Butthead one.
Yeah.
That was so dumb. It's like unbelievably silly, but it made me laugh.
Did you see Heidi Gardner's interview after that?
No.
I don't know why I said Heidi Gardner's interview. She probably did a lot of interviews after that sketch, but I saw where she was talking about how she was.
Is she the woman hosting in that sketch? Gotcha. Yeah.
So she laughed. Obviously, she couldn't stop laughing, and she was like thinking the whole time. She was like, I'm ruining this sketch. I'm drawing all the attention away from them. I'm doing such a horrible job. And then she goes off the stage, and everybody's like, great job. Like, you made it. You did everything you were supposed to do. Like, the laughing was great.
Oh, that's so, that must be so confusing for her, actually.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what made everybody loves Debbie Downer at Disneyland. And that's because Lindsay Lohan walks off because she can't stop laughing.
Right.
Jimmy Fallon can't stop laughing. Everybody loves it. Rachel Dratch is cracking, but she cracked every time she did.
Yeah, I do like it when people break. It is annoying when you break every time.
Yeah.
Like then it like loses this magic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But if you break every now and again, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, speaking of confusion,
yeah,
we were having a much more serious conversation before we hit record.
Sure.
And you shared with me that sometimes, and if you don't like this, I can cut it out.
Oh, it's okay. Sure. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If I start crying and weeping.
No. If what I'm about to say, you're like, I don't want to talk about this on the podcast. Sure. We don't have to.
Mm.
But you expressed that sometimes you feel like you've wasted your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean my whole life for sure.
Fuck.
But definitely like the past 6 years, I'd say since I left high school, which is actually 7 years.
Christ.
What is true to feeling actually is that I feel like I've done nothing of significance, which logically I know is not true.
But the feeling.
Yeah, the feeling is definitely that like I've wasted my time.
Yes. And I feel the same way.
I'm sorry.
No. But like the point is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So everyone can hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The point is that we've embarked on this podcast.
We sure have.
And
21 episodes.
We both feel as though we have either not done anything of significance or like wasted our life.
Right.
How do we make this podcast better?
Okay.
And or more fulfilling? And is this a question worth asking? Am I like missing the point? Or am I being like a capitalist pig?
I think that there's probably like I have a lot of answers to this question. I have a lot of answers to this question. I think okay, what did you say? How do we make the podcast better?
And or more fulfilling.
And or more fulfilling. Okay. Well, I've got stuff for both of those actually.
Okay.
How to make the podcast better? I actually have been toying with the idea of because I think it's fun how casual we are, but also sometimes like I'll do the Criterion Casey or whatever, and I'll be like, I think I should have been like a little bit more factual and like historical about this.
Sure.
Which could just be because I like movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like there are some episodes where I'm just like, great movie. Here's all the reasons why it's great. And I should also say like, I mean, I don't know. Hey, it won Academy Awards. Actually, the one I wanted to talk about today. Whatever.
Yeah, like what's the historical significance?
Right.
Yeah,
because that's valuable.
Or cultural significance.
Right. There's a reason it's in the Criterion collection.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that I watched it and liked it.
Beyond Casey liking it.
Right. If I got to put movies in the Criterion collection, who knows? Best in Show. Fucking.
I haven't seen that. I'm terrible.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. The premise is hilarious.
It's so fucking funny. It's my favorite of those 3 first mockumentaries.
That's like one of the first. So, listeners at home, right. Best in Show is about a dog competition.
Yeah. Yeah. So Christopher Guest, actor, writer, director, he made 3 mockumentaries. Although I believe Mascots is a mockumentary as well. I haven't seen it, but
is that him as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he's got frequent collaborators. Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy are always the standouts of those 3. So then you had Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and then A Mighty Wind. I like A Mighty Wind.
What is A Mighty Wind about?
It's like a mockumentary reunion style, because then they do a reunion show at the end about 60s folk singers. It's fantastic. Like Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara used to be like a married couple, and they used to sing like, "Oh, the sun loves its children," and that kind of stuff. All this really great stuff. That one's a lot of fun. Jane Lynch and Fred Willard are really good in that one as well. Yeah, but Best in Show is really funny. It's my favorite of those for sure. Should be in the Criterion collection. But if you did a box set of those 3, flying off the shelves.
Dude, that sounds
Flying.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like if I saw that on somebody's shelf, I'd be like, "You're cool."
Hey, I would think the exact same thing.
Fuck. But anywho, how to make the podcast better and or more fulfilling?
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling.
I say fulfilling,
Fulfilling.
but it is fulfilling.
What a wild word.
Fulfilling. It makes you full from how filling the.
Why don't you just say filling? Anyway, how do
Wish
we
I
make the
could tell you.
podcast better and or more fulfilling?
Yeah, more fulfilling will be tough because I think we.
No. But you were on a better tangent.
Yeah, how to make it better.
You were going down that path.
Yeah, I mean, that whole first chunk, it's conversational. I don't think that there's any need for improvement on that. But that's me personally. I kind of like.
You like that.
I like it, and I like that we get tangential. I think that's what makes it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes I'll be like, I don't have an answer to this question. I don't know, and then I'll be like, I gotta think about it. And that's kind of boring to me. I think that doesn't do. Where I'm just like, give me a second.
Yeah. And like that could be solved with like editing.
Sure.
And just like let you have time to think about it. Or honestly, I should just start sending you the questions.
Whatever you want to do, because I kind of like being thrust into it.
I mean, I think
it's
can
fun.
plant the seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll invariably forget because you're so busy.
Because I'm so busy.
Because then it'll be like, oh fuck, I remember and then you'll like have some thoughts, kind of ready to go.
I'm just like, remember we were talking about a couple of days ago? Like, oh,
whoa. But yeah, no, I feel that. I do. Yeah, it's like we are a bit of a dead air podcast, which I don't like. That's like quote unquote a bad thing.
Sure.
I think letting there be breath to think helps me as a listener think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything, because I also don't think that we have a lot of it in each episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I like it, because it also just feels more natural to me, and that's what all the positive. I haven't received any negative opinions of our podcast, but all of the positive people are always like, it feels so natural, and like probably because we just hop in and start doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels natural. People are like, oh, it just feels like I'm hanging out with my friends, like, and that's great. Like,
yeah, I guess that is nice. Huh?
yeah, just having a little space.
Yeah, I guess not my issue. I think the reason I feel so insecure about that is I don't consume media like that, really.
Mm-hmm.
And like, probably the most like casual thing I consume is like audio commentaries.
Okay.
But they're like discussing a specific thing, and there's constant like a stimulus from like the movie that they are watching and talking about, that they were participated in.
Right.
You know. So it's not that casual, even though it might feel that way. There's like a very like firm foundation and structure.
Sure.
Bolstering the casualness. And then when I listen to podcasts, I'm a self-help addict. Like I'm listening to I'm really gonna out myself here. I'm listening to fucking like Chris Williamson interviewing Tim Ferriss.
Wow.
About his like morning routine.
Okay.
And the books he's reading, and like,
right.
Yeah, and like how to be like a superhuman, you know. And yeah, and I put that shit on like in the background,
right?
You know. So and then when I listen to our podcast, I'm like,
God, this is boring.
No. It's not that it's boring. I'm just like, is there like, what are people getting out of this? Like, I'm not exactly
Sure.
a exemplary human, you know. like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody should take any of my advice, you know.
Do we give a lot of it? Do you give a lot of advice?
We don't.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah. But it's like if I were to like, if I'm like, oh, we could make our podcast better based on these podcasts I listen to.
Oh, like give it. Oh,
Yeah, it's like no, like I'm not.
yeah.
I shouldn't be giving advice.
I don't even know what I would give advice on. Like a podcast that I had in my. I mentioned this on the first episode, The Complete Guide to Everything.
Yes.
So their names are Tim and Tom, and they have a segment every couple. It seems very random. It's called Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems, and you send in an email, and it can be anything. So like maybe they'll go, "Oh, my neighbor doesn't separate her recycling from her trash," and they'll just be like, "Sounds like you should kill her." Like, and they're just like, "Okay, hope you, yeah." They don't offer advice. But that's the thing. I don't even know what like people would have to send in questions. Like I don't have any advice.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Eat your vegetables.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I feel like we have gone down rabbit holes where we find ourselves kind of talking about ways we've solved our own problems.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's really all I can offer. Kind of like,
Yeah.
this is who I am, this is where I'm at, and it used to be worse in some ways, and now it's a little better in some ways, and it's currently bad in a lot of ways, and this is how I'm trying to make it better.
Right.
And maybe people do need to hear that from time to time, but
Maybe I can shut up about movies for a little bit. And
no. I like talking about movies. I like that about us.
Me too. I like that we're a movie podcast, but we're not like a movie podcast. Like we talk about other stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah. I think people think I don't have other interests.
Yeah.
I have other interests, sorry. I experience life in a variable amount of ways.
You contain multitudes.
It's true.
Yes, indeed. But yeah. It's sounding like just a little more structure.
Sure.
Could help. And maybe specifically, I give you questions beforehand.
Sure.
And maybe we touch base on like topics we'd like to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
That day, even if they're unrelated to the question or unrelated to movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Criterion Casey maybe giving us a little more of the bigger picture beyond your experience.
That sounds great.
Film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows, if that doesn't work, we can always go back.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping us.
Yeah. Because yeah. And then, any other thoughts? I feel like I interrupted you.
Well, that's just how to make the podcast better.
Yeah.
What did you say? More fulfilling, and there was a third part to your question.
Oh yeah, and is this even something that is worth talking about?
Sure. I mean, that was something I thought about too, where I was like, if we knowingly change the podcast, are we kind of like defeating the purpose of what we do it for?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Are we selling out?
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's like, what are we basing this on? Mm-hmm. Other podcasts that we listen to.
Right. And obviously there's like a part of us that is like to turn this into a means that supports us.
Right.
More than just spiritually.
Right. Right.
Would be nice. But then, and on top of that, I do have these reservations of like, am I just giving into this capitalist machine?
Right.
Where everything I do needs to contribute to my bank account.
Right.
In some way. And both can be true.
Both can certainly be. I mean, the fact of the matter is that neither of us live in a world where it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it would be because essentially, I think what we're actually thinking of is what would happen if we enjoyed what we did, and we're trying to make what we enjoy lucrative?
Yes. Yeah. And I guess, yeah, I'm checking in. Are you enjoying yourself?
Absolutely,
Oh, great.
absolutely. It's a good time.
I am too.
We hang out all the time now.
Yeah. I like it. And it's nice because, like, I think a sad reality of my life is I tend to keep in touch with people I'm creating with.
Sure, that happens.
And there are friends and relationships in my life that are separated. We don't cross paths creatively,
Mm-hmm.
and we still keep in touch. But it is more. I have to be way more intentional, and I drop the ball more often with those relationships.
Sure.
But when I am like trying to write something with somebody or put on a show or whatever, yeah, the friendship just seems to strengthen, or not strengthen, but like it's supported.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and it's nice that we have this, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just like an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an excuse to hang out. And also I think we the podcast specifically, like obviously I see you around for other stuff, but like I think it's cool to have like our little pocket where we just kind of like dip back and kind of don't really have to think about a lot of Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, I don't have to think about, it's not like it's like a different type of socializing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, cool. Right on. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty fulfilled. I think it's like, because I know you feel the same way. I would like to be like I would like us to have a bigger audience.
Yes.
And like I would like to do fun things with that, So that I think now that we've been doing it for like 8 months,
Wow.
yeah. It's like okay, so now what's our next step? What do we do? Maybe not even necessarily, becoming number 1 on iTunes or whatever, or whatever it's called anymore. But like, cool. So, what's our next thing? How do we?
Yeah.
I'm not explaining it.
No.
But
That's great. I love that. Yeah, being intentional about like, these are the reasons we got started. These are the reasons like we kind of keep doing it that are very personal.
Yeah.
And on top of that, how are we expanding on this? And I do think we have answers to that. I mean, certainly a live show of some kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Details.
TBD.
Yeah, and I think that's great actually. So yeah, cool. Right on.
Yeah, but I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
We've got 60 followers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we might even have more than that.
Oh.
Maybe not 70, but like 65 maybe.
On Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I think we only have us on and Michael on Letterboxd, friend of the podcast, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
our three followers on Letterboxd.
I guess I could check the Spotify.
Oh yeah, we had last time I looked, which was probably when I uploaded like in April or something. That was like we had 246 streams or something.
Wow,
that's not too shabby.
That's not too shabby.
Yeah,
I mean, given the scope and where we're at, and who we are,
and who, given that we don't have any friends, that's pretty.
Given that we've wasted our life and nobody likes us.
This is my greatest achievement as of yet. 246 streams.
I wouldn't say that for myself, but nice. I'm very proud of it. And and I want this to keep going. Certainly.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Thanks, Casey.
Sure. Hey, thanks, Ari.
We're keeping a kind of a tight schedule today.
Yeah.
How about you take us into another? What do I call it?
Criterion Casey. That's what it's called.
Another. segment, another chapter.
Oh, another.
What do I say?
I usually kind of go.
Episode?
It sounds like.
Segment?
Do you say episode? What feels natural right now?
Nothing.
Well, now, yeah, we've overthought it.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode.
Oh my God! It's on the tip of my tongue. Yes, you do say something else. Oh my God!
Welcome to another edition.
Edition.
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome to another edition of Criterion Casey. That was insane.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I'm leaving that in. I'm not cutting that.
Why
out.
not?
Yeah.
I would love if like somebody driving and there's like addition.
Yes.
God, he says another addition.
Please drive safely.
Drive safely.
Don't look at
Sorry.
your radio.
Yeah. Don't be angry with us.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the road
Keep your eyes on the road.
while having an emotional response to us. Yeah. But yeah, Criterion Casey. Let's.
Criterion Casey. So we're starting with well, not starting with. This is the only one. Spine 606.
Okay. It's one
It's a-
number away from the Dark Lords.
From the Dark Lord. I really hope that. I would love to see what 666 is, because sometimes they're pretty smart about what like Godzilla was 1,000, and then they did that huge box set.
Cool.
I think they're pretty intentional about their numbers.
666 better be a doozy.
I wouldn't even be surprised if like 420 was like Dazed and Confused or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I gotta look that up. I'll let everybody know. So yeah, 606, 1945. It's a kind of not gothic. Gothic is not the word I want. It's like a spooky little fantastic comedy.
Okay.
David Lean's Blithe Spirit.
Blithe Spirit.
Have you seen this?
No.
Okay.
Wait, David Lean, like Lawrence of Arabia.
Like Lawrence of Arabia.
Brief Encounter.
The same year as Brief Encounter.
Whoa.
He made this movie.
Okay. Blithe Spirit.
Blithe Spirit. Amazing. So I don't know any of the actors in it because they're British. And this guy, he's got his second wife, and they have a seance at their house.
Oh.
And the woman seems to kind of be like, not a sham, but just almost like she's a little weird and almost stupid. So she can't, they get in contact with someone, but she can't hold the connection. When she leaves, he discovers that his first wife has now reappeared. She died of like a heart attack. She's reappeared and just causes chaos in the house. There's a whole section of the movie where his wife doesn't even believe that he can see her, where she's just like, I don't even understand why you're doing this. Like, I feel like you're just trying to mess with me. And he's like, no, she's sitting right there. And she has all like these little quips where she's just like, oh, wow, you married her, blah, 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 whatever.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
It's amazing. It's incredibly funny. Won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. The visual effects are really good. They're kind of like, it's almost like watching The Twilight Zone or something, where they're so well thought out and also simple that they hold up a lot better than if they had gone really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like her costuming is great. They don't do a lot, but they have a few great moments of like green screen making things float and stuff.
Wait, what year? 60...
45.
45?
Mm-hmm. It's great.
Wait, so there's no green screen?
Is there no green screen?
I don't think so.
Then how do they do the thing?
It's all in camera, I think.
Well, that's crazy.
Or not in camera. I think there's a way to like put celluloid. It's like two
I see.
pieces of celluloid on top of each other.
I see. I guess, yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't think that they were in a computer or whatever, like, ooh, now we're going to put but yeah, where they put the image over the other.
Yeah. Which maybe there was, I don't know. Is
I guess
green screen like old technology that's just been fitted for computers now?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Huh.
I guess, I don't know.
Wow.
I'd have to ask this guy who did the visual effects, whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Who won the Academy Award?
Who won the Academy Award. Which also sent me down a rabbit hole, because one of the things that it was nominated for was a Hugo Award, which is like a science fiction. Yeah. Which I'd never heard of. But then I was reading all this stuff about how there were 4 years. The Hugos, they offer the option where you don't have to vote for anything. where they're just like, if there are nominees that you don't think deserve this award, you can say no. So there were 4
Whoa.
years, where no nominees won, which is so fun. I mean,
That's badass.
it's like that's like the whole point, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're supposed to be awarding the best, and they're like, none of these really are doing it for me.
Damn. So if you've won a Hugo Award, you've won.
You've won. That's like a legitimate win.
Whoa. I
Um.
have a Hugo Award winner right here.
Oh yeah.
American Guards.
Oh nice.
Neil Gaiman.
Very
It's
cool.
Dusty.
Sounds like you didn't like it very much.
No, it's great. That was the first book I read and finished here in Los Angeles.
Oh wow. I like.
Yeah.
This sounds like a joke. I like that you keep track of that stuff. Where you're just like, this is a memory I have.
Yeah, like books. I think this is why media matters so much to me. I mean, they are often like, not tent poles, but posts.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
on the road. Like it, I read it on my trip to Europe with my family before moving to LA,
Mhm.
and I finished it the week I got in LA,
Wow.
and then I
Then
picked
you
up
read
American Gods.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
It's a good book. I like it.
American Gods.
Oh, I like it. The
I
Stephen
like
King
it
novel.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I in it like it again. We've talked about this on the podcast. It's such a shame that Homeboy didn't work out. Kerry Joji Fukunaga.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I feel like for the script I read of his, he seemed to really get it.
Absolutely. I was one of the few people that enjoyed it chapter 2.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like very inspirational in my Scooby Doo.
Oh yes. We've talked.
It has
about
to. It has to be, I guess.
Yeah.
But Blithe Spirit.
Blithe Spirit.
Yeah.
Yes. Criterion number
606.
606.
606. Yeah, it's great. It's just like a good time, you know. I think there are a lot of readings of it that see a lot more in it than I do. But I think if you take it at face value, it's fun. It's fun no matter what.
That's special. I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's so great about sci-fi and horror. You know,
Yeah.
you can just take it for what it is, or you can like go down a rabbit hole.
Totally.
I think that's so cool.
It's great stuff. Yeah, and I mean it's one too where I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia, so I'm not really saying anything about Lawrence of
I've
Arabia.
never seen it either.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We should go to the 70mm. They show it every year.
Dude,
go to
yeah,
the
we
70mm.
should. I've seen Brief Encounter 3 times. I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia.
I'm constantly watching Brief Encounter.
So good.
Absolutely. But I think it's so funny that that people go, oh, David Leany's like one of the greatest directors of all time, Lawrence of Arabia. The directing in Brief Encounter, great.
Oh, yeah.
The visuals in Brief Encounter, great. Same thing with Blithe Spirit. Like, just making it so just nonchalant and just simple and still getting everything you want to get across. And it's in Technicolor. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Blithe Spirit is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's
That makes me
really
wanna
great.
watch it, actually.
It's just like so like it's like a little cup of tea or something. Like it's just like, oh.
I mean, like,
Just-
as all that heaven allows.
Yeah.
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 The colors are so sumptuous.
Oh yeah. I like Technicolor better than like a color camera. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I-
Absolutely.
I there's just something about it.
Yeah, it's insane. I haven't seen it replicated digitally. Like, that's the one area where I'm like, I don't know, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I know you've done all these like color and camera tests, and you're like, digital can do it all, but I don't know. Technicolor is just.
I know there's just something like digital. Oh my god, digital with like white is like kill me. It just
Wait, what
burns.
do you mean?
Like anything like sometimes there'll be like light or like some overexposed kind of highlights or something, and it's just like zapping me in my eyes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, like the way Paul Thomas Anderson blows out windows and stuff,
Mhm.
way different than I mean, Fincher never does that
Yeah.
because he knows. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't even think of a digital example of that. I mean, people don't really do it digitally, I think.
Well, like blowouts and stuff?
Yeah.
No, I'm not that I've seen on purpose anyway. I know Sean Baker, but also I don't know how intentional that is. I think it like when he was working on Tangerine and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Soderbergh in High Flying Bird. He does that.
He does blow stuff out a lot.
I can't remember Unsane too well. I love that movie, but
Unsane's
can't remember.
good, man. Claire Foy is great.
She's great. I think it's because, you know what, and I have a lot of opinions about this. I'm not going to go into it, but there are a lot of great British actors who should be bigger than they are, and they aren't because they're British. And we can go that.
So there's a whole, we talk about this in like acting class all the time, how annoying it is.
Sure.
That there are so many Brits taking like American jobs, basically.
Uh-huh.
And it's because Britain treats acting as a vocation.
Yeah.
It's America. It's like a hobby.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anywho,
Blythe Spirit is good. The
Hell
performances are good. The writing's great. It looks amazing. It's like an hour and a half.
that sounds great.
It's great.
I want to watch it.
It's great. It's
I'm
great
so
time.
bad at watching these.
I finished it and I was like, oh, this would be fun for like a couple of years ago. My friends did a all-night horror marathon at Halloween.
Oh, fun.
And I was like, oh, that would be fun. And then I know that some of my friends can't really handle nasty, gross stuff, and some of my friends can. And I was like, okay, well, what if I did something like Blythe Spirit would fit perfectly in something like, you know, with other movies that are just kind of like just spooky enough.
Yeah. It could also be a good palate cleanser.
Yeah. Also that.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a great, like, just a Sunday afternoon movie. Like, if you like it, you could throw it on at any point of any day, and it just
hell yeah.
hits on all right spaces.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
I liked it a lot.
Maybe we should do that for our live event.
An all-night marathon?
Or no, just Blythe Spirit.
Oh, really?
Because our anniversary is in October.
Yeah. That's a great point. Wow. Look at that. Look at that, everybody.
Well, Casey, thank you so much. Any last words?
No. Okay. None at all. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah. We're keeping it real tight today.
Keeping it tight.
But let me continue our journey with Ursula K. Le Guin. Sci-fi.
Hey, look at us.
Legend, yeah. She's won a Hugo, I'm sure.
Oh, I'd be surprised if she hadn't.
Yeah, right. There was a poem in here that really got me. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is perfect.
Awesome.
We just talked about October and being spooky. Here we go.
I can't wait.
This is All Saints, All Souls by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the day when the saints all go silently to church in France, and over the mountains of Mexico, the bare bones dance. Ghosts rise up from graveyard sleep to follow the southward fleeing sun. It is the doomsday of the leaf, the feast day of the skeleton.
That is a little.
Yeah. I like it. Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
My name is Ari Wojciech.
My name's Casey Young.
And this is
The Ticket.
Woo!